25 million Nigerians are set to become beneficiaries of the installation of 140 billion naira off-grid solar home systems in rural communities across the country, beginning the first week of this month. That's according to the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the Vice President, Laulu Akonde, who says that the initiative is a continuation of coordinated implementation of the Economic Sustainability Plan of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Mr. Akonde also says that the initiative involves 5 million home systems to about 25 million people in underserved and off-grid communities across the country. Now, the program will include assembly and manufacturing of components of off-grid solutions to facilitate the growth of the local manufacturing industry, while the use of local content will be prioritized. Well, joining me now in our Lagos studio to discuss this, I have Adiola Yusuf, energy analyst and editor, New Telegraph. Good to have you on the breakfast show this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Now, how does this report come to you? Looking at the first week of this month, we're expecting installations of about 140 billion naira off-grid solar solutions systems installed in rural communities at this point.
Okay, ordinarily it should be a sharing news because of this background. In Nigeria, the Nigerian power law states that if up to 100 megawatts is generated anywhere, it has to be sent to the grid. And because of this grid system, one valve in which power generated across the country is being sent to, a few days ago, the grid collapsed. So, and this plunged the whole country into
a blackout.
So when we have alternatives like this, off-grid power generation, it is a very, very good and a welcoming development. And another thing is that we have been clamoring for this all this while. The only thing that the Nigerian government is supplying through this arrangement, which is very good, is just the panel. The sun, which is the major source, is free of charge. You understand? So we have been talking about Nigerian looking at the other way, instead of the thermal generation of power. And when the country has stated that from today, because today is the first day of the month, and this week that is happening is something that is very good. So we expect even more than that, you understand? But we all understand that we have to take the first step. And if the government, has the political will to really take the first step, it's something that is going to be very good for Nigeria. Another thing is that the plan is being done with Rural Electrification Agency. So they are prioritizing people from the rural
areas
and a few other people from the urban centers that are not on the grid. So it's something that is good. If we have, started looking at this years back, we would have been out of these, issues of.
No doubt it's a step in the right direction. But at this point in time, how do we also incorporate this model in terms of our urban centers where we still have the power issue? The deficit is just a whole lot. Looking at the hours, we have power and a whole lot more. But now the pricing template, 4,000 naira per month for those within the rural areas. How do you think this also consolidates on the efforts of the Economic Sustainability Plan of this administration and bring in some ease to the economy?
Thank you. Truth of the matter is that immediately I saw that news, that 4,000 naira became an issue for me. If truly we want to, provide light or electricity for rural dwellers, you will agree with me that how many of those people can boast of 4,000 naira at the end of the month? How many of them? You understand? So the fear I now have is that so that panel that they are trying to, provide for Nigerians will not end up in the hands of those that are connected on the grid already, because those are the people that can afford that 4,000 naira per month. They talked of 1,500 naira weekly or 4,000 naira monthly. But let's ask that genuine question. How many people from that rural areas can afford 4,000 naira? Not to talk of affording 4,000 naira to be paid for that panel, So I think it's an area that I believe the government should look at. Although the 140 billion naira is a loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria. We understand the market, the business system. A loan has to be serviced, you understand. But the government should actually look at that area so that at the end of the day, it doesn't, the intention is not defeated.
The intent is to bring power to quite a low level for every other Nigerian to be able to afford it. But now let's also talk about the clause we have here as well, looking at the fact that we expect to see the assembly and manufacturing of some of these off-grid solution components made in Nigeria. The biggest issue on ground at this point in time is the fact that we also have a very huge metering gap. We have local producers here who also assemble, and then we have a couple of components here and there that are locally manufactured, but we've not seen a big boost or a big reception within that regard. So how do you think that will now play out this time around with the off-grid power solutions, talking about the solar panels installation?
Okay, thank you. Without sounding, immodest, without sounding critical of the government, I believe they would have, tabled that, a lot of issues like that in their war room, quote and unquote. But truth of the matter is that from what we have seen so far, we have not been told, the proper plan in place to ensure that that local content development, takes place. Another thing you will agree with me is that for Nigerians, this is not the first time that we see projects that has that solar tag. You see street lights in areas with that solar. How many months do they last before packing up? That is issue of inferior quality. That's
where standardization comes into play. We have the Standards Organization of Nigeria to do that.
Even beyond that, there is issue of maintenance in Nigeria. We lack that maintenance culture. You understand? So are they putting that in place? If those are in place, it is something that is going to bring about a total succor to the economy. It's going to be a total succor to this, the suffering that a lot of Nigerians are facing. If someone that's operating a barber shop, for instance, has the privilege of supplying light through that arrangement, it is going to help his business. If someone that is operating an hairdressing shop, you see that even all those petty trading and all that, everyone, almost everyone depends on electricity.
These are for home services.
For home services, you agree with me that in Nigeria, how many homes do you see, except in the hybrid? How many homes do you see? How many houses do you see without a shop or a local store in front of it? You understand? So they, as much as people are building houses, they are thinking of, even civil servants, as long as they are building houses, they are thinking of where they can
alternative sources of income from that.
So that is, we have to look at the area of maintenance. We have to look at the area of cost and everything that surrounds it.
You just touched on the matter of looking at project management and also inculcating that culture of maintenance. But at this point in time, if we were to create a blueprint to have maintenance culture put in place for these installations, what sort of review or reports do you also expect going forward after this first installation?
Okay, the government is doing this with a number of contractors that will do the installation and all that. Those contractors should go with the brief of, ensuring that there is maintenance. Maintenance in the sense of, assisting and in the sense of helping people to know how to do the maintenance themselves. I think it's only with that the overall objective of ensuring that people are, supplied with light genuinely will be achieved.
Thank you very much for your time on the Breakfast Show today. Adeola Yusuf would like to definitely see this model adopted on a grand scale, and then we have Nigeria entirely powered. Thank you very much once again.